going through life's challenges, I struggled to find the balance between my faith and a health healing journey. And for a long time, I treated them as two separate worlds, one just for spiritual and one just for healing my body. But through exploring the connection between the two, I discovered a sense of purpose and resilience and peace that I never imagined before. And today I want to share that transformative insights that I have gained along the way and how you can explore this connection in your own life. Your faith isn't something that is outside of you. It has the power to heal your body, your mind, and your spirit. And there's actually quite a bit of science beginning to catch up with that wisdom that tradition has kind of always known. And in this video, we're going to explore how faith and spirituality influence well-being and why understanding this connection matters now more than ever before. Let's start off with the definition, like defining what we're talking about. And when I say faith, I don't just mean religion. It can be prayer, it can be meditation, it can be nature, it can be community. However you connect with something that is bigger than you, larger than you, and gives you meaning. In a world full of stress, burnout, disconnection, weaving spirituality into health gives us a deeper insight into healing itself. A little about how science backs this up now. So there's been studies that show that people who regularly engage. Hello, babies. Toffee came to say hi. Hello. You want to come say hi? This is Toffee. Hello. Okay, I'm making a video. Okay, back to the studies. So people who regularly engage in spiritual practices, whether that's through prayer or meditation, nature walks, hanging out with community, and or of providing a service, volunteering and all of that, report lower stress levels, stronger immune system, and greater resilience in face of challenges that may come up. And mind-body research demonstrates that practices like prayer, meditation can lower cholesterol and even regulate the nervous system. Scientists also know that having a sense of meaning is directly linked to longevity and overall health. So spirituality kind of offers us that anchor into our health, our knowingness, and a sense of belonging in a way. And faith communities also show that there's lower rates of depression, anxiety by providing belonging and that emotional support that sometimes people can lack. So bringing this into our daily life, these are some few practices that you can try incorporating within your life and your schedule. Practicing mindfulness and gratitude is obviously one of the biggest ones, and something simple as starting and ending your day with something that you're grateful for, naming 3 things that you're grateful for right as soon as you wake up and going to bed, and sitting with that gratitude is in its own revolutionary and life-changing. But on top of that, as someone who's volunteered from a very, very, very young age, finding a group or a community where values of kindness, service, or connection are lived out, belonging that supports healing is very essential. When you're helping out in these volunteer positions, it feels like you're giving without like that capitalism exchange of transactionary things. So you're giving out of the goodness of your heart, and it feels good to give. Forgiveness and compassion. Also, science has been showing that forgiveness lowers your blood pressure, eases anxiety, and aligning beautifully with many of the spiritual teachings. And the key here is to weave in these practices of small little things with a consistent practice that nourish both your faith and your well-being. Of course, as someone who's also strayed away from faith for a good chunk of my life, this isn't always easy. Getting back into this practice is not easy. For some, faith has been tied to hurt or dogma or things that they don't want to be connected to, and that doesn't feel healing to them. Others may struggle with the doubt of it or disconnect from their faith. And acknowledging that your journey is your own. Spirituality doesn't have to look the same for one or the other person. It's your own journey to finding that connection, of finding something that you're connected to greater than yourself. And it looks different for everyone. Everyone has their own path to it. Some look delusional or crazy, but it's leading them somewhere. Some, it's the opposite, but they're each have their own path to finding where they need to go. And in this, I would also like to address the toxic positivity that kind of gets slapped on with someone who has faith and or is finding their way into spirituality. Faith doesn't mean pain or forcing optimism. True spirituality always allows the space for your lower vibrational emotions and energy. It allows the space for grief. It allows a space for struggle and authenticity of not being or acting in a way that is deemed appropriate or right. Like allowing yourself to have that space, the darker parts of you to have that space, the yin and yang, like both equally balance one another out. One can't exist without the other. And the faster you acknowledge and love the darker parts of you, the faster you can integrate it within yourself and choose to be in the light more often. And seek guidance when needed, whether from a trusted mentor or a mental health professional. Adding in self-care rituals, you can create this balanced approach just perfectly aligned to you and how you see fit. And the path will obviously look different for everyone. That's why when influencers are like, yeah, follow this 5-day or 6-day thing and you're gonna feel amazing, that's great, it worked for them, but that same routine or that same trick might not work for you. Those who've gone through anything traumatic in their life, faith can also become a refuge and a resource. When the body carries wounds, the spirit can remind us that we are way more than what we've endured and what we've had to go through and live through. Practices like meditation or prayer and connecting with a compassionate community can support your trauma recovery in so many ways. And it's not by erasing what happened to you, but by offering strength and different forms of pillars of support, perspective, and hope around you, rather than feeling like you're struggling through the flashbacks or trauma on your own. And I think that is the best way to find a lesson, a rhyme, or a reason of what you have gone through. And that's not to invalidate how hurtful or painful it was. It's just a way to flip the script so that you're not living in the rest of your life in the victim mode of this happened to me, and taking charge of it and moving forward and creating something for yourself that you can be proud of. Actually, studies done that where spirituality and tapping into these energies and integrating philosophy concepts like this can help recover trauma survivors, build resilience, and lower symptoms of anxiety, PTSD, and even finding meaning in these difficult circumstances. As we've touched on this, I think there's also something very important to add here and become aware of, which is spiritual bypassing. That's when faith is used to avoid or suppress pain instead of working through it. So saying things like everything happens for a reason or just stay positive, they might sound supportive in the short term, but in the long run, they're not, and can sometimes shut down the very real feeling that's trying to come through, the very real emotion of grief, anger, pain that's trying to be healed through the body and the mind. And when it's coming up, when you slap on a generalized term like that, that's in a way telling your brain, we don't really need to worry about that. It's for a reason, which it may as well be, but not allowing your body to process it and finally either feel it and release the emotion, you're kind of putting it away in a box somewhere in the back of your mind. And that box will get bigger and bigger the more you try to shove it back. And at some point, come out in ways that you don't want to. And healthy spirituality doesn't ask us to skip over our struggles. It asks us to embrace the struggles, to sit with the struggles, to sit with the pain and love that pain regardless of how bad it hurts. And it invites us into bringing them into the light with honesty, compassion, and courage so that we can finally heal through it and then incorporate that lesson within our body to move forward instead of staying stuck in that age frame, time frame, and just be frozen in that moment of whatever happened to you. All of this to say, the takeaway is faith, however you define it, can be a powerful foundation for health and for healing. And it reduces stress, it strengthens your resilience, and it reminds us that something bigger than our day-to-day worries. I encourage you to explore your own relationship with spirituality and wellness and ask yourself, how can I bring more meaning, stillness, and compassion into my daily life? And how can I work on my spiritual pillar more in my day-to-day life so that all 4 of my health pillars are being taken care of regularly?